Today's guest has lived through what most of us couldn't even imagine, a fiery truck crash that should have ended it all. But somehow it didn't. Glen Bennett woke up from a 24-day coma with burns to 70% of his body, countless broken bones, and a battle that would last far beyond the hospital walls. Yet his story isn't just about survival, it's about strength, humour, family, and finding purpose again when life gives you no guarantees. Glen, welcome to Tumble Upward Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for being here.
That's all right.
We're going to start with your story before the accident. So what did your life look like prior to that?
So I was a truck driver. At that point, I'd been driving professionally for about 12 years. Ran all over the country. Literally, the only place I never went was WA, really. But I'd do runs from Brisbane up to Cairns and then load up at the tablelands with some avos or mangoes, bananas, a lot of that stuff up there. And then I could end up in Adelaide at the markets or, literally anywhere.
Did you enjoy being a truck driver?
Yes, I did. I kind of saw myself doing it. That was my career, definitely. I definitely saw myself doing it for quite a long time more yet. I enjoyed it. I got paid to see so much of this country that people never get to see. Yeah, just seen so much. And to get paid to do it as well and to have that experience, it was awesome. Yeah.
How did you go, I guess, being away from your family so much, being on the road?
So I was single for about a 5-year stint at one point when I was concentrating on saving for a house, my first house, and I just worked my butt off. I had a motorbike and that was kind of my reward. If I had a day off, I'd take that for a spin and, spend $20 on petrol. And it didn't affect my savings so much. And I got to just save and I worked really hard and got the money to buy a house and did some traveling, went to America.
That's cool.
I was over there for, I did a 6-week holiday. It was just the best holiday. And then when I came back from that, I went righto and went and got my loan for the mortgage and found some land and started building the house. So
yeah.
And that's when I met Ronnie, who is my wife now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you built your house and you met your partner, and then were you still truck driving?
Yes. Still truck driving. And when we had the little fella, I was still truck driving. I did have some time off when he was born. But truck driving and, missed a fair bit, of him growing up at the beginning anyway.
Yeah, they grow up so fast.
They do, yes.
Yeah. And then can you tell us a bit of the lead up to the accident and what you can remember of the accident versus what people have told you?
So I remember literally everything. So in the lead up to the accident, I was working for a company called Follamont Transport, and I like saying their name because they've actually done amazing stuff for me. They've been very supportive and they've just been amazing. So I was working for them, and leading up to the accident, I'd been quite busy because it was COVID. So the accident was on the 5th of August 2020. So those few months before it, we were just flat out in the trucks. There wasn't enough trucks in Australia to move all the freight around because people weren't working and there was just so much food. And, of course, there was the big, toilet paper saga.
Oh, yeah.
So we were really busy. And then I actually just got back home a couple of days before and had a 24-hour break. And then that day of the accident, at lunchtime, we were at North Lakes getting another mortgage approved to buy some land because we wanted to sell the house and get some acreage. So we just got applied for the mortgage that day. And, I went to work at about 5 in the afternoon and went and saw, the office and got my paperwork and hooked up to my trailers and off I went. Everything was normal. I always said goodnight to Ronnie before she went to bed while I was driving. So I called her before I got to Gingin. So we were talking for a bit, all on hands-free, of course, no, all legal We actually had cameras in the truck that watched us.
Okay.
And if you even took your eyes off the road for a couple of seconds, an alarm would go and your seat would vibrate, and it would send the clip to the office in case you had like a micro sleep or something. But it was all there for safety. And yeah, I talked to her until I got to Gingin, so we talked for about half an hour or so, I suppose. And then I said, I'm at Gingin, I've got to go. I want to have a quick 15-minute, got to go to the toilet, get a coffee. Yeah, so said goodnight to her, and usually we'd talk the next morning when she was on her way to work, or dropping Hugo off to daycare. And I left Gingin, and I got 60 kilometres approximately north of Gingin, and I came around this bend, and there was, in the gully, there was just this, I could see a blanket of fog. Didn't know exactly what it was, but I just saw a cloud there and assumed it was fog.
Yeah.
Went into the fog and literally couldn't see. So I hit the skids.
Do you know what speed you were going at that time?
So, I was doing 100.
Okay.
It's all a highway.
Yeah.
It was the Bruce Highway. Our trucks were monitored for speed as well. So if the truck went, I can't remember what it was, 102 or 103, they would get alarms in the office because trucks are limited to 100. But obviously, if you're going down a hill, you got 60 odd ton pushing you. So sometimes they get up a little bit faster, but we would, get warnings for that through the office. So yeah, so anyway, I was doing my 100, and it just hit this blanket, hit the skids, and the computer and stuff, that all the tracking system and everything that's in the trucks, it registered a high G-force event at 86 kilometres an hour.
Okay.
So they think that was my impact.
Wow. Okay.
86 kilometres an hour into a B double that's sitting still because it's crashed into another B double.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then do you remember anything from after the impact?
I remember the impact. I literally can see the trailer doors coming into my face.
Wow.
And then I woke up and I felt like it was only a second.
Yeah.
But it was obviously a little while because while I was knocked out, my truck had burst into flames. And when I woke up, the inside of the truck, including myself, was on fire. So I literally had like a second to make a call, and I thought about my little 2.5-year-old at home, and I wasn't ready to not be a dad no more. So I tried to get out, and the door was, because the cab was crushed, the door was stuck, but thankfully it had shattered the glass, and I threw myself out the window out of a cab over truck, which is about 2 metres to the ground.
Wow.
And I hit the ground, and landed on my shoulder and broke my shoulder, and rolled a couple of times to put myself out of fire. And the first time I rolled, this arm went through the air and it went backwards. So I knew there was something wrong with that arm. And then I rolled a couple of times, and then I stopped, and I literally had nothing left. I obviously had enough adrenaline or something to get me to that point.
Yeah.
And then there was nothing.
Were you still on fire at that point?
No, excuse me. I was definitely out then. Because I'd rolled, and then I don't remember really like looking at myself or anything, but I just remember trying to move. Like I went to get up, and I literally couldn't move. Yeah. And it took a minute of lying there, and then I heard a voice, and all I heard was, "Oh my God, there's another truck back here," and I just yelled out, "Help!" And he came over to me and he said, "Are you out of this truck?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Was there anyone else in there?" And I said, "No." And then he dragged me away from the truck in the fire. We sat for a while. I was leaning up against him, and then the truck, the fire just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So we had to move back again, because of the heat. And then we sat a bit more, and then it just tires were exploding, and so we had to move back again because of the heat.
Yeah.
And then eventually these people who I still talk to, Dean and Debbie, they came in their 4-wheel drive, and there was a copper and a couple of other people, and they put me in a blanket and carried me and put me in the Prado, and then they drove me out to wait for the ambulance. And so the accident happened at about roughly 10:45 at night, and I didn't get in the ambulance until 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't know what time she got there, but I'd say it would have been around 1 o'clock or something. It was a couple of hours.
If you didn't have the will to get out of the truck, you don't think you would have survived?
No, well, I've seen photos of my truck, what's left, and there's only metal frames, and there is nothing left.
Yeah.
And yeah, I literally would have been cremated in the truck, and they would have swept me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it hard looking at photos of the truck now, or can you tolerate it?
No, it's not hard. Like, obviously, seeing it, it's like, you know, holy crap, that's, you know, what happened. But I look at all that stuff, even photos of myself. I look at all that, and I just think of, like, how proud I should be of myself, because I literally have come from the brink of death. Like, they didn't give me a chance really at all. So I look at that and just think about how lucky I am and how proud I should be of myself.
Yeah. At what point did you realise that your legs were gone?
I didn't know at all. When I was lying there waiting for the ambulance, when she came, her name's Janelle. We talk. We just went on a cruise together.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Her and her hubby and me and Ronnie and Hugo.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're quite close now. But yeah, she got on the phone to Gladstone Hospital, I assumed, and spoke to a doctor, and I just heard her rattling off stuff.
Medical terms.
And what she could see, that, you know, that I was very black. I was, you know, there was broken bones she could see. And because she wanted to give me morphine, but they're only allowed to give so much. So she was asking for permission to be able to give me morphine and also to raise it to fentanyl. And I heard all that, and I just thought, I'm screwed. Like, I'm dead. Got in the ambulance, and I asked Janelle for her phone and to ring my wife, because I literally wanted to say goodbye to her, because I thought I was dead. So wanted to say bye, and so I knew her phone number and rattled it off, and Janelle called her and said, I'm, you know, from the Queensland ambulance, and I'm with your husband, and he's been in a really bad accident. And anyway, and I talked to her for a minute and told her I loved her, and that I was sorry, and because I was leaving her to be a single mum, and so. Did
she say much?
No, I don't really remember the conversation very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of it. And as I handed the phone back, I don't remember this, but Ronnie said she heard it. As I handed the phone back to Janelle, I said, I'm ready for you to put me to sleep now. So, yeah, I was done.
Yeah.
Like, and when I say put me to sleep, I literally meant, like, just, I'm done. Even if I die right now, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Can you remember the feeling of the pain at the time?
People ask me about the pain, and sometimes I don't like to really tell about how much pain I was in, because it's not really fair. Like, you can guess, you know, you burnt your finger and you know how much that bloody hurts.
Yeah.
You've broken bones, probably. Most people break a bone at some point. I just, it's not really fair to talk about, because I was at the point where I was ready to die.
Yeah.
So
I guess pain is subjective for everyone as well.
Yeah. They took me to Gladstone Hospital, and then they put me in the coma in Gladstone Hospital. They started, like, going over me to see what was wrong. They knew because of the burns that I had to go to Brisbane. It's the only burns hospital in Queensland. They organised the Royal Flying Doctors, and they brought me down in a plane. Yep.
Yeah. How long were you in a coma for?
So 24 days.
Wow.
And then, so I was in an induced coma, and then they pulled me out of the coma. So the first day, I had a tracheotomy, so they, because there was some ash in my mouth, so they were concerned that I breathed in fire.
Okay.
Damaged, lungs, throat, all that. So yeah, they had the tube in.
Yeah.
They, when I woke, so you can't talk with a trachea in, and when I woke, I saw my wife, and they had a board, and it had letters on it, and they point to a letter, and then I'd blink or try and make a noise when they got to the right letter.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing I asked about was, I can't remember, and my wife will be, when she hears this, she'll be like, which one it was, and I can never remember if it was Hyundai or Tucson, but I spelt out the word.
Yeah.
Because the car was due for its service that day, and I was making sure that she got the car serviced.
Oh my gosh. Priorities, right?
That was the first thing. So I don't know why.
Yeah.
But that was, I guess too, I figured that it was still the same day.
Yeah. Maybe didn't realise how serious it was either.
No.
Yeah.
No. So,
okay.
Yeah, the car service was the first thing I asked about.
Yeah. Was it serviced?
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was serviced before I went to work. So
yeah.
I just hadn't remembered that part of the day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you woke up, you couldn't speak yet, you had the tracheotomy, can't say that word, trachea in your throat.
Yep.
And then how long was it till you could speak? Because I'm sure you had so many questions.
Yeah, so they told me that I'd lost my legs, and they literally had to tell me every day for about a week before it kind of sunk in. I didn't know how bad it was. And the drugs,
Yeah.
when you're in a coma, they're giving you ketamine and these massive drugs, and you have hallucinations, and it's really hard to, I guess, depict between reality and what was happening.
Yeah.
The dreams I had were pretty horrible.
I was going to ask you about dreams.
Yeah. So well, you can ask me in a minute.
Yeah.
It took about a week before it really sunk in about the legs not sort of being there.
Yeah.
I don't remember how long it took exactly before I could talk, but I had to learn to swallow, and I had to do these swallowing techniques before they would let me have the trachea out. But it started slowly. They put a cap over the end of the trachea, and then the air can run through your throat, and that's how your voice comes out. It has to pass over your vocal cords.
Right.
So they'd cap this, and I'd start trying to talk, and I literally had to relearn to talk. I didn't know how to talk.
Yeah.
And then once I started talking, I was telling my wife that, it's not that bad. And she's, when I would see her, I'd be like, oh, you're here to take me home. Mm-hmm. And I thought that I was going home. Really hard to try and get reality actually as it is, even though you're there.
Yeah. It's
still not real, because you think, for me, I thought I was going home.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm not that badly injured.
Yeah.
But I was, and I wasn't going home.
Yeah.
Mm.
I guess you're not in your normal environment either. You're still in the hospital, so you're not in your real world. To, I guess, let that reality sink in.
Yeah.
When you were in the coma or on the pain meds, did you have any dreams that were seemed like your reality or anything weird?
So I had this one dream, and because I thought I was going to die, I really thought I was. I'm not religious. I just thought I was going to die and that's it.
Yeah.
I remember having a dream that there was these monsters that came up out of the ground and they were killing people. And I really thought that after a little while, I remember feeling in myself that I've died and heaven and hell is real and I'm in hell and there's monsters.
Yeah.
And you were just trying to survive but these monsters were just killing people. And then it's just weird how it ended up evolving, but somehow I ended up getting away from a heap of these monsters. And then somehow a friend of mine called Alison, she knew somebody who was in the Air Force, and I got her to contact the Air Force, and then they came and bombed all these all these monsters.
Yeah.
That's what I'll tell you, that ketamine is just the worst drug.
Yeah.
It really just messes with you.
Yeah.
And then so that's like I really thought I was in hell. And that dream, it felt like it went for like a week.
Yeah.
Like in real time.
Yeah.
It just kept going and kept going and kept going. And but there was only 2 dreams I remember, and the rest of it was just kind of nothingness.
Yeah. And after being in a coma, do you believe in any sort of afterlife?
No.
No.
So I never, because I nearly died, like I never saw a white light tunnel, things that people talk about.
Yeah.
I never saw anything. And I said to one of my doctors once, I know I was knocking on death's door. And she said to me, you weren't knocking on it, you were through it, and we had to pull you back.
Yeah.
So I was definitely on that line of death.
Yeah, but that was sort of nothingness.
Yeah, just nothingness.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So when you finally came to the realization and had, I guess, not accepted, but knew your reality was you had lost your legs, how did you deal with that?
One of the first things that entered my mind was, what is my son going to think of me? He was just over 2.5 years old. And, we played, and I took him to the park and we'd kick a soccer ball around, and I was active with him, and now I'm lying there and I can't even move, and at that point too, you don't know if you're going to get much better. Like, is this it? I'm lying here. I need people to roll me.
Yeah.
I can't move. Like, is this my reality for the rest of my life? So you don't know how better you're going to get. You don't know what your capabilities are going to be moving forward, because you don't know what life is going to be like even tomorrow.
Yeah.
Am I still getting rolled?
Yeah.
Am I still actually maybe going to die in the next operation? Is my body just finally going to go, I'm done? The pain's too much. Everything's too much. And I guess there's moments, it's hard to think about and talk about, but there was moments where I know that I wanted to die because it wasn't good.
Yeah. And
the pain that I was going through, the drugs that they're giving you, sometimes they're not even touching the sides. And, they ask you for your pain scores. And one time I said it was 12 out of 10. It's beyond imagination. It's beyond comprehension of how much pain that you can actually feel.
Yeah.
And
like you said, you didn't know if that was your forever.
That's right. At that point in time. Like yep.
Yeah. How long until you saw your son after the accident?
It was a couple of months. Because it was COVID and all the stuff was shut down, and we had the borders were shut, and my wife had to get a special code every morning from the NUM, the head of nursing, in the unit that I was in the burns unit, and she had to get a code and give that to security to be let into the hospital.
Yeah.
For the first month or so, she was the only one allowed to see me. My dad, my mum, my sister saw me when I was in the coma because it was life or death, so they were allowed to see me.
Yeah.
But once I went to the ward, it was only my wife and it's hard to remember times, but, it was definitely a month. It could have even been a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, you're allowed another person now. And then, okay, you can have another person now. Mm-hmm. So Hugo was first.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he came first. My wife actually videoed when they were in the lift together coming up to see me. And she said, "What are we doing?" And he had these 2 balloons with faces on them. Mm-hmm. And he said, "We're going to see Daddy." And he was excited. He said, "I'm excited."
Yeah.
2.5-year-old talking, so
babble.
Yeah, yeah. But he was really excited to come and see me, and I was so scared, nervous, all this because I didn't know what he was going to think of me.
And he was just excited as an innocent child.
He was excited. When he came in, he was in my wife's arms. Oh, he walked in, and then she picked him up. And I just remember looking at him, and I was really nervous. It was like I was meeting him for the first time.
It'd been quite a while as well. And you'd been through so much without seeing him.
Yeah. And I was lying there with all these tubes, and my arm was just this big metal frame that was holding my arm together.
Yeah.
Because they were going to amputate my arm at my elbow at one point because it was really badly mangled. But they said he's going to lose both legs, so he needs to have both arms.
Yeah.
So, I couldn't move. Still at that point, could not move.
Could you speak?
Yes.
Well now?
I was speaking by then. By this stage now, I was swallowing fluid.
Yeah. What did he say when he saw you?
So he said hi to me. I could tell that he was a little bit shocked by what I looked like. Mm-hmm. And Ronnie ended up putting him on the end of my bed, and she was explaining to him that Daddy has no legs, and you could see, where my legs ended and, where the sheet dropped down.
Yeah.
And he was sitting just obviously past that, right at the end of the bed. And I won't forget it. He was tapping my stump very gently, but he was tapping me, and he said that everything was going to be all right.
That's really sweet. Yeah.
2.5 years old.
Yeah. Where does that even come from?
Yeah.
Wow. That's really special.
Yep.
And then how did the rest of your rehab go from there? Could you then see him more often, or was it still COVID limited visitors?
So I did see him a little bit more, but then once I saw him, then I wanted to see my dad,
Yeah.
And I wanted to see my mum, and I wanted to see my sister.
Yeah.
So they all started coming, but it was still only 1 or 2 people.
Does it seem almost like it was another life now, looking back on it?
Yeah, so it's 5.25 years pretty much. When I was in the hospital, that just dragged because I did sleep a lot because I was heavily medicated because of the pain. So I did sleep a lot. But time just dragged and dragged and dragged. Whereas once I was finally allowed out of the hospital and that things started to get better when I could sit up and I started moving my hands and I could actually use a computer and I started watching some stuff on Netflix and doing things like that.
Yeah.
Time was a bit better then. And then since I've been out of hospital, the first 6 months or might have been 12 months, I was going to the hospital 3 times a week. Plus I was going to Intrapilli.
Yeah.
And I live at Alimba. So Alimba to Intrapilli is quite a distance.
North to south side.
And I was doing that weekly, Monday to Thursday, 3 days at the hospital, 1 day at Intrapilli, and it was just phenomenal. And so I guess that went quite quick.
Yeah.
And now, I've done quite a few interviews and I've done quite a few things to help the hospital. I'm an ambassador for the RBWH Foundation. And I go to things for them and help them raise funds, and so life's pretty busy now, and I still rehab, and I do gym, and I've got a pool at home now, and I do stuff in the pool, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when did the prosthetics come in for your legs?
So they said to me that I may never even be able to walk again.
Yeah.
And I had to face that, but I always said to them, I'm going to walk.
Yeah.
It was a couple of years, and then they finally fitted me, and I started off on a tilt table.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've been physio, you will know what a tilt table is.
Yeah.
But for everyone else, it's just a flat table, and you get strapped to it, and they slowly tilt you up until you can stand, but you're strapped to it so that you don't fall, because none of your muscles are working real well, because you've been in a bed for months and hardly moved. You've wasted away.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. And that just went for ages. And then I started standing and just standing up from my wheelchair, and
Yeah.
it was a very, very slow process.
Can you remember your first, once you were standing, your actual like steps forwards?
Yeah, so every time I had a monumental moment, my wife would be in that day, and she would do some filming, and so I've got all that stuff there that I can look back on at any time.
Yeah.
It was, it was good to stand, and it was good to take those first steps, because I was told that it was never going to really happen, probably.
Yeah.
And I suppose, that doctors have got to tell you that stuff, because they don't want to go, oh, yeah, you're going to walk, you'll be right.
Yeah.
And then you don't walk.
Yeah.
And man, you said I was going to walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like how they tell people, though, like, you'll never walk again, or you'll never do this.
I know.
For people like you, like, it's great, your mentality-wise, that you're like, no, I'm going to prove you wrong, and I am going to walk again.
Yeah, screw you, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. But I'm sure there's some people that just accept that. So then maybe they don't take the steps to try.
Yep.
I don't know.
One of my surgeons said to me once that, because I was so serious, he said that out of all the people in the world, 90% of the people would have just accepted like that survived.
Yeah.
Because it was very unsurvivable.
Yeah.
But of the people that would survive, 90% would just accept it and go, yep, I'm alive. And they would literally breathe oxygen, and they would do hardly anything.
Yeah.
And he said then you'd get 5% that would actually make a little bit of an effort, and they might be able to transfer themselves around and sort of do some things themselves.
Mm.
And he said then there'd be a couple of percent that would actually kind of do really well, and they would probably walk, and they might do some things. And he said you would literally be one person in the entire world that could actually survive and excel and do what I've done.
Yeah.
And I really took that, I was really proud of myself for that when I heard that.
Yeah.
Because most of the time the doctors are telling you that you're probably not going to live, or you're probably not going to walk. Yeah. And I got all that, and then I got told that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow.
Yeah. You really just put your mind to it.
Yeah.
Do you think your son was also a good motivator for your goals?
So when I woke up in the truck, it was literally, he was the thing in my head. I was like, I need to get out for Hugo.
Yeah.
I'm not finished being a dad.
Yeah.
That was my biggest motivation, my biggest drive. And everything that I have done since has been for my family. Mm-hmm. I said I wanted to walk, and I wanted to do things so that I could take Hugo down to the Broncos.
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to take him to the sideline of the Broncos after a game so he could meet the players. There's been so many. I want to take him to Disneyland. Mm. We haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
But I do want to take him to Disneyland.
Yeah.
There's just so many things I want to do, and I want to do it with Hugo and Ronnie. I want to take them here. I want to go on a holiday with them and do this. It's always my family. And when it comes to my wife, with Hugo, I want to do stuff with him. I want to be on my legs. I want to take him to the Broncos. Mm-hmm. When it's my wife, I want to do stuff with her and go to a dinner, have a romantic dinner together as husband and wife.
Yeah.
But not make it hard work for her.
Yes.
not make it so that she has to do my wheelchair, she has to do this, she has to do that. She gets exhausted and doesn't enjoy the occasion.
Yeah.
Whereas now I have a hoist, I get the wheelchair out, I have my legs on. Sometimes I'll leave them on in the chair. Sometimes I take them off.
Yeah.
It depends how my stumps are doing.
Yeah.
But I try and do as much as I can now myself.
Yeah.
Ronnie is there. She's with me. We go and have dinner. There's no hard work for her, and we get to enjoy being husband and wife and having dinner together. So she's been my drive for that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So both Hugo and Ronnie, they're very different things. Yeah.
I guess it's hard when your partner is sort of your carer or carer at some stage.
Yep.
But you still want to keep that distinct line between being in a relationship and being partners and being independent and enjoying your time together rather than feeling like you're like a burden to them, I guess.
I did feel like that a lot, that I was a burden at the early stages.
Yeah.
Like I would have a carer come in the house and they would be there for like 12 hours.
Yeah.
But when they went home, then Ronnie had to help me. And she had to help me first thing in the morning before they started. And I hated her having to do that.
Yeah.
I always said at the beginning, she's my wife, she's not my carer.
Yeah.
You know, and we wanted to have that distinct line in the sand. The carer does that stuff. My wife is my wife.
Yeah.
And now that I'm, 5 years down the track and I've put in a lot of effort and I'm doing really well.
Yeah.
Now she is my wife. She still does stuff, and it's really hard for me to do my own washing because it's hard to get into the tub. It's really hard for me to load the bottom of the dishwasher, but I can put a cup in at the top, and so she still has to help me with some stuff.
Yeah.
But I try and do as much as I can myself.
I guess you have your own separate tasks. Like there would be things you can do.
Yes.
That she can leave to you.
Well, today I drove here on my own.
Yeah.
I had my legs on. I got my wheelchair out, and I'm in here with you.
Yeah.
I'm actually just going through a change with my left stump at the moment, and which is why I actually don't have my legs on because I was concerned about how far the walk was.
Yeah.
And my left stump has shrunk a little bit, and it's not sitting in the socket properly, and I've bruised my bone, and I've been in tears in agony.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I'm kind of having my legs on only when I really need to.
Yeah.
While I'm going through this stage of setting up the new socket.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was love to have walked in today, but I just couldn't today.
Yeah, that's okay. I guess as well, like our skin, like where you got the amputations, isn't made to be standing on.
Well,
in the prosthetic.
I lost my legs from the burns.
Yeah.
So my left ankle was literally burnt to the bone.
Wow.
So all my legs right up to the top of my thighs is all grafted skin. Okay. So grafted skin is a lot more fragile than our normal skin.
Yeah.
And so I have to be careful of blisters, breakdowns.
Yeah.
Because it's fragile.
Yeah.
So with my socket that wasn't fitting me properly, because my stump wasn't in there and it wasn't getting supported properly, I've ended up basically having a lot more pressure on the end of my stump, and I've ended up bruising my bone, and it made it very painful for me to walk.
Yeah. The balance would be so hard.
Balance is so hard with no ankles.
Yeah.
Yes. Very, very hard.
Yeah.
I can't really stand on one leg because I can't balance myself. It's very, very hard.
Yeah. And your relationship with your son now, I know you said he's 7, is that correct?
Yep.
And you were sort of worried that he would get embarrassed or what he would think of you now being in a wheelchair.
Yep.
How's he been with everything now?
So he's really proud of his dad, actually. And
nice.
It breaks my heart sometimes how much he actually loves me. Like, I know that's weird to say that it breaks my heart, but I mean, like, it's just so emotional sometimes with how much he loves me. And I really didn't think it was going to be like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's 7. He'll be 8 soon.
Yeah.
But I don't know what he's going to be like when he's 13, 14, 15. He might be different. But he's really proud of me and what I've done, and he tells people things about me, and he tells people to Google me, and you should Google my dad, and
Yeah.
it's quite funny.
You have to tell him about the podcast.
I will be. Don't worry. I had to say his name.
Yeah.
So I had to, so that he could hear it. So that's why I've said Hugo.
Shout out to Hugo if you're listening. Yeah. No, that's really nice.
Yeah. It's
a testament to your hard work, I think, as well.
Yeah. My wife has a saying, Ronnie, she's just funny. She says, it's the Dad and Hugo show and I'm just the ring-in. That's what she says, because everything, Hugo just wants Dad a lot. And and obviously I love it because I survived and I did that to be with him and have a life with him.
And your future goals now, so you mentioned, I guess you want to take Hugo to Disneyland.
Yes, I do.
What are your other future goals? What do you have lined up? I know you said you're ambassador for, was it RBWH?
Yeah, for the foundation.
Yeah.
I'm a patient ambassador there. Also at the moment, I'm just been working, collaborating with some doctors and trauma surgeons and that at the RBWH and a researcher. And we are setting up a thing called the Trauma Support Network. We've just submitted it to try and get a grant to get some funding so that we can get it up and running. And we want to offer extra support to people that have been through really serious traumatic things like myself.
Yeah.
I've been and spoken to some people in the hospital and tried to give them a bit of motivation, and I've had some really good feedback from some people that my positivity just rubs off on them and they lift. And I've had quite a few people say that, I'm just trying to think how they say it, like, if I'm having a bad day, I just think about Glen and, you know, I'm not going through anything like he went through.
Yeah.
And I always say to people when they tell me that, your thing is your thing. How you feel pain and how you have reacted to your injuries and things is you. Mm-hmm. You know, I've reacted and survived and succeeded because it's me.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. And but if I can rub off on some people a little bit and they go, you know what, I'll draw on that.
Yeah.
Then hey, I'm happy to talk to you.
Yeah.
And give you a little bit of motivation. Like,
yeah, that's
what I want to do now. I want to show people that you can put your mind to things and you can succeed and you can go beyond expectation.
Yeah.
You know, I just did a test in March and I actually drive with my feet. So I drive with my prosthetic feet.
You don't have the hand
I don't have the hand controls now.
Wow.
I will probably need them again in the future when I can't use my legs as well.
Yeah.
But I can feel my foot with my brain. Don't ask me how, but I can feel how much I'm pushing on the pedal.
Yeah.
When I brake, and I can actually drive smoother with my prosthetic feet than I could with hand controls.
That's crazy. I remember studying phantom limb stuff in university.
Oh, don't even ask me about that. I'm
but,
on some...
And the mirror psychology
that
behind
didn't work.
it and didn't work with you?
No. I have a lot of trouble with my feet.
Yeah.
Yep. My toes hurt regularly. I'm on, pregabalin and a few of those drugs that they talk about a lot.
Yeah.
To try and help with my phantom limb pain, and
yeah,
some days it's horrible and some days it's great.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I guess for people who don't know what phantom limb pain is, it's where your brain is still connected to you having a foot.
Correct.
And you still feel that pain even though it's not there.
And I feel it in, like, I can sit there and go, oh my God, my big toe is hurting. And I can rub a spot and I can hit like the nerve. And I can rub my big toe. It doesn't really do much. Yeah. But I can feel my big toe rubbing my stump. Like the nerves are there and they've just been severed. But yeah, the brain still thinks there's the nerve just goes where it's supposed to go.
That's where we're wired.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah.
I hate it.
That would be so difficult for sure. How do you go when you look at yourself in the mirror now?
Took a long time. I really didn't like how I looked. I wear a hat all the time because I'm very self-conscious about things, and I've got scars on my face and on my chin, and I grew my beard to cover and mask things, and that's what I've done to hide behind things. Yeah. Because I didn't really like how I looked. I still get, I don't know if the word's embarrassed or what, but like I feel people looking at me sometimes, and I think, what the heck are they thinking? You know, are they looking at my scars? Are they looking at, oh, geez, that poor bloke's got no legs? Like, and I always think the worst things.
Yeah.
Like they might be saying, oh my God, that guy's in the shopping centre doing some groceries with someone, like, you know, but I think
your
the
mind
worst.
goes to the worst. Yeah.
So I'm very self-conscious of how I look.
Do you have advice for any people who don't know how to interact with someone in a wheelchair or someone who looks different?
So obviously it depends on the person, you know, who's in the wheelchair. But recently I was, I can't remember where I was. Oh, we went to the grand final for the Broncos, and there was this kid looking at me. And I said to the dad, I'm like, mate, like your son's looking at me.
Yeah.
If he wants to ask me a question, you know, I'm okay for him to ask me.
Yeah.
And he spoke to his son, and his son said to me, what happened to your legs? And I told him that my legs were making me sick and that the doctors had to take them off.
Yeah.
So that's what I tell a kid.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them to think about a person being on fire.
Yeah.
So I just, and they were making me sick.
Yeah.
It was the infection and things, like could have put, like I went sepsis so many times.
Yeah.
And they had to cut and get infection out of me. And so, you know, my legs were literally killing me.
Yeah.
And that's why they had to go.
Yeah.
So I try and just be gentle with the kids. But if adults ask me sometimes, you know, like it depends on my day as well. I will tell them exactly what's happened.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's a big story. I guess it's a good story, but there's some things about it that suck and you don't want to hear sometimes.
Yeah. And I guess if you're having a good day, you don't want to, as much as if someone asks you a question, I'm sure you're happy to answer.
Yep.
But you don't want to always be having to flash back to that sort of trauma and thinking about it.
No. My psych has said to me, because I don't have nightmares.
Okay.
And my psych has said to me, because I remember everything from the time I woke up on fire until I was in that ambulance and I had enough drugs in me to basically knock me out, I remember everything. So she says my brain hasn't got pieces missing, which is where you go back to flashbacks and how you go like having nightmares and things because your brain doesn't have the full story. So your brain, this is what she says, your brain's trying to figure out things and you have flashbacks and things.
Yeah.
I have no pieces missing from the story.
Yeah.
I can remember the whole thing. So I don't have flashbacks and I don't have nightmares, which is a really good thing. I think it would
be the opposite. Like I thought if you could remember, it would be more traumatic for nightmares.
Yeah. And I guess I've told the story that many times now that, you know, sometimes I get a bit emotional about when I think about my son and some things I do. But yeah, I tell the story to motivate people, not upset people or make people think about the bad stuff.
Yeah.
I tell them to motivate them and give them a good story with a good ending.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you've done so well today. I'm sure you've definitely motivated lots of people. I think it's a good lead up to our final 2 questions.
Yep, cool.
So if you could go back and give yourself one sentence of advice at your lowest point, what would it be? That would be,
you gave me these questions to kind of think about, and that one's still really hard. I don't really, it's hard to sort of know what to say. I didn't really get much advice because of the COVID, so I didn't have people coming and I couldn't use a phone because I couldn't move. So I don't really even remember getting much advice. So it's hard to, I guess, kind of think about giving myself advice. But now when I go and talk to some people in the hospital, the conversation just flows like this, I guess. And that's what helps them. And I think, which is why I'm working with these doctors to set up this trauma support network. I just think the positivity comes from hearing someone's story like mine.
Yeah.
I remember meeting one person in the hospital and they had grafted skin And I was like, is that what my skin is going to, like, could look like? And because I was red raw and I thought I was going to look like that for the rest of my life. And then to see someone a few years down the track and see their scarring, like, that was a massive thing to go, oh, wow, I might actually look a bit more normal.
Yeah.
So that would probably be the biggest advice that I would have given myself, would have been to have people come through to give me some positivity.
Yeah. It's almost what you're doing now as the ambassador. Like, if you had another you back when you were isolated, that would have helped.
It would have helped. But in the end, I've helped myself because I didn't have any help.
I have a spin-off question that I thought of in the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. If you could give your son your best life advice, what would it be?
Jeez.
Just to put you on the spot.
I guess, treasure your moments that you have with your family, with your friends. Live in the moment, because, I went to work expecting to drive to Cairns and then drive somewhere else and see my wife and my boy in a couple of days, or in a few days, or a week, depends where I went.
Yeah.
So I guess having that, that would probably be the biggest thing, to say, treasure the time you have, because you don't know how much time you've got.
For sure.
Anything can happen at any point. But I think that's kind of some advice I could give everybody.
Yeah.
Just treasure every moment.
Tomorrow's never promised. Live in the moment.
No.
All right, second question.
Yep.
If you don't have an answer, that's fine. Looking back on your journey now, is there anything you can smile or laugh about?
I have a saying, and I enjoy it, and I love watching people squirm and react.
Go for it.
People, if I drop something or I'm doing something, people will often come up to me and say, can I give you a hand? And I always say, if you're offering up body parts, I'll take a foot.
Yeah.
People just...
Love it.
Some people look at me and then start laughing and think about it. Some people just have no idea how to react. It's just, and I sit there inside and I'm laughing. And that's one little thing that I like to do.
Yeah.
When we had our pool built, the first time I hopped in the pool, my wife was holding my hands as I was stepping down the steps to get in. And I was bit over ankle deep, like on the second step or whatever. And I went, oh, wow, geez, the water's cold. And she was like, is it? So got her.
Yeah.
And
she
then
I went for a second.
Yes. And then I went down the next step. And then she goes, the water's not even on your skin yet. And I was like, yes, no.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I got her good. I got you, Ronnie. I did.
Yeah. I love that you can have fun with it. And you got to take advantage of it, right?
Seriously. How many people can do this? Like, and some people take it really bad. When someone's doing something and you go, oh my God, man, you're on fire.
Yeah.
You know that saying?
Yeah. Like, you're epic, you're on fire, keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone said that to me once when I was walking. And I said to them, been there, done that, don't recommend it. And they were like, oh my God.
And then they just felt horrible.
Yeah, they were like, oh, I'm so sorry, Glenn. And I'm like, dude, it's all good. Like, if I let that stuff, I don't know if I could have sworn then, I don't let that stuff affect me, because that could put me in a really bad hole, and it might be really hard to get out of. Yeah. So I laugh that stuff off. Yeah. And people, I always say, don't worry about it. It's all good. Like, I'm actually okay. Yeah. Like, but.
And they're not intentionally trying to stab you. They're just innocently. No. Yeah.
Yeah. If you ever see me, I'm usually pretty good to talk to.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining today.
Oh, it's been great.
Yeah. It's such a great chat.
Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say, if you or anyone you know has a story to share, please reach out so that I can keep bringing you stories from our community. Let's get as many voices heard as possible. And if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to like, subscribe, review, and follow. Thanks, everyone.